Woohoo! Aloha, my friends. This is Billy Wiggly coming at you live from the Ninth Island, Las Vegas, Nevada. PMA, positive mental attitude. You know that's what we promote at Don't Get Mad, Get Skills. And how do you have a positive mental attitude all the time? Well, just focus on the positives. It's easy. Instead of sitting there paying attention to all the negatives that come around you, every negative thing that happens, look for the positives because they're all around you. And I'm positive that you're going to enjoy this right here because you've taken the time to write a nice formula just like this one. And you're like, all right, cool. I'm ready to double click on the autofill handle right here. And then right when you get ready to click on the autofill handle, you go right ahead and you do it. And then you're like, oh, problems. How can we fix this? Well, let's learn about relative referencing versus absolute referencing. And one thing more. F4 is your friend. Check it out. When we're talking about relative referencing versus absolute referencing, this is what I am referencing. So when you're writing a formula in Excel, you're using cell referencing. For example, if I want to go ahead and add the contents of this 5,000 plus this 2,500, when you write the formula in Excel, we don't say it's equal to 5,000 plus 2,500 and then enter. That tells us, yeah, the total is 7,500. But let's say that I want to go ahead and change that to 2,000. Nothing changes, right? Because the formula didn't change. So the way that you write formulas in Excel is you add the cells, add, divide, multiply the cells, not the contents of the cell. It's the actual cells that we add, divide, multiply, because the contents of the cells can always change. So when I'm writing a formula, I use what's called cell referencing. So my formula is going to reference, in this case, cell A2. I'm just clicking on them, plus whatever's in cell B2. So this formula tells us take whatever is in cell A2 and add it to whatever's in cell B2. Just like that, no problem. Now, when I go right ahead and I press enter, it's going to tell me that the total is 7,500. So now if I was to change that to just 2,000, well, then it correctly tells me that the total is 7,000. If I say 5,000 plus 0, the total is 5,000. There we have it. And that, it's called cell referencing. Now, if I go right ahead and grab the autofill handle right here, double click on it or just click and drag down on it, what's going to happen is it's going to take the formula that I already have in here and it's going to go right ahead and copy it all the way down. However, it's not going to be exactly the same. It's going to be relative referencing. In other words, this referencing, cell referencing, is going to be relative to where it's located. Are you beginning to see what I'm talking about? Now let me go right ahead and double click on the autofill handle to copy the formula on down. And there we have it. Great. We love it. Now let me minimize a little bit here and let's view our formulas. So when we're viewing our formulas, we see that we have AB plus B2. So it's saying whatever's in A2 added to whatever's in B2, just like that. And now notice here, when we move down to the next formula, now it's the same referencing, it just kept it relative. It's still this cell, whatever's in this cell plus whatever's in this cell, except that it's now no longer A2 and B2. Now it's A3 and B3. And so this, my friends, is called relative referencing. So when you write a formula in Excel and you copy the formula on down, the cell referencing remain relative to where it's located. Now that can cause problems whenever you're doing something that is a little bit different. Like this. We've got a formula that we've written down that gives us the commission. And the commission is going to be the sales minus the quota, and then multiply that result times 10%, and that's going to give us the commission. So there's the formula. The formula is go ahead and take whatever is in A3 and subtract whatever's in B3 from it. So it's A3 minus B3, and then multiply that times the commission, which is B1 right here, this cell. Okay, cool. So when we press enter, there's the commission. Now if I go ahead and double click on the autofill handle, now we've got some problems. What happened? Oh, problem. There's a value error. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our formulas. Here we have A3 minus B3 times B1. Cool. I want you to pay attention to the color coding that we have going on right here. See, that's what's cool about Excel. It just keeps getting better. And it's showing us color coding everything nice and simple for us. Now let's take a look at the next formula. When I double click on it, it tells me that it's A4 minus B4. That's right, kept it relative, times B2. Are you seeing what's happening here? Relative cell referencing. It's keeping everything relative. This formula right in here was A3 minus B3 times B2. And now when I copy the formula on down, you notice that the references updated. And what happened though is the value error that we're getting is that it's trying to take A4 minus B4 and multiply times whatever's in B2, which is text. So can you multiply numbers times letters? No. That's why we have a value error. We have conflicting values. One value is a number, one value is a letter. And now look at this commission. Isn't that awesome? Wouldn't that be great? Sell 3,870. My quota is 2,500, and my commission 3,425,000. Woohoo! Boom. Yes, sir. We love that. However, that's wrong. And this little errors like this cost companies millions of dollars every year. That's why Excel is considered one of the world's most dangerous programs. That's why it's important for you to learn Excel basics. And I'm going to tell you how you can learn some basics for free and get yourself some confidence while you're at it. So how do we fix this? This is called relative cell referencing. So what we want to do is we want this cell reference to stay in one place, to stay absolutely right there. In other words, we want this cell to be an absolute cell referencing. So now let me go right ahead and minimize. I'm going to open up these formulas so you can take a look at it. Here what we have is we have A1 times B1, or A3 minus B3 times B1. Then we have A4 minus B4 times B2. And now here we have A5 minus B5 times B3. So relative cell referencing. What we want to do is we want to have some absolute referencing. We want the B1 reference to remain absolute. These can continue being relative. They need to be, because we want all of this to be B1 right here. That B1 is absolute. So we could fix this by just going in here and saying, okay, B1, click, B1. And then now we can just enter and we're good to go. It's fixed just like that. But we don't want to do that because here it's easy. There's only 3 rows. But what if we had 5,000 rows? Are you going to go through one at a time fixing it? Maybe. You might be thinking to yourself, I did that already the other day. I've done it a long time ago when I first started using Excel and I was learning the hard way without anybody helping me. I did things like that. So I'm going to show you why F4 is your friend. And I mean F4. F4. Remember, my friends, F4 is your friend. And we use F4 to anchor. So what we're doing is we're writing a formula, and we want the B1 in this case to remain absolute. So in order to make it absolute, we have to anchor it, and we can just press F4. And remember, if you're on a laptop, and you might be pressing F4 and nothing's happening, it's not anchoring. Well, take a look. You might need to press your Fn function key first, and then you can press the F4. Sometimes on some laptops, you have to turn on the function keys, enable them so you can use them. So here we have, let's write this formula again, my friends. We're going to say equals whatever's in that cell. Whoops, let's put it in parentheses because we have to remember the order of operations. A3 times, minus whatever's in B3, close those parentheses, and then multiply that result times whatever's in B1. Now, we're going to copy that formula down, so we're going to press F4 to anchor. You could manually type in those dollar signs. Those are called anchors in this case. Or you can just press F4. Now, watch this. If I press F4 one time, it anchors the column and the row. If I press F4 again, it only anchors the row, so it'll move across columns but not down rows. If I press F4 again, it anchors the column, which means it'll move up and down the row. It'll move up and down rows on that one column. It won't move to any other columns. Later on, I'm going to show you a little bit more about absolute referencing. Most of the time, you're just going to press F4 one time, anchor the entire reference, press enter. Now we're going to double click on our autofill handle, click, click, boom, bam. Ooh, yes, sir. Now let's take a look at our formulas right in here, and all the cell reference is correct. We're all absolutely B1, and these are all relative references, my friend. And that's all you got to know, just like that. Because look, come on over to don'tgetmadgetskills.com, just like that. And when you land on this page, you're going to see that you're going to have all these classes available to you. And these are the 7 steps to Excel success for you to take, for you to get a good, solid Excel basics foundation. And then we move on forward from there. Every month I teach these classes. It's free to you. All that is required is that you be registered on this site. So you can, if you're already registered at don'tgetmadgetskills.com, you can just book your spot and you'll be instantly booked, and then you'll get some notifications letting you know where you need to go to watch the class, or you can just click on any one of these sessions and then just take a look and see what it's about. And then you can just click register now right from here and go right ahead and begin the registration process. So that's it, my friends. I encourage you to keep on learning. I encourage you to go to don'tgetmadgetskills.com, sign up for the free classes, get yourself some skills. And remember, most of all, my friends, I love you. Remember, keep on learning and don't get mad. Get skills. Aloha.